This is a meeting of the City Council, January 23rd, 2020. Know your rights under the open meeting law, section, chapter 30A, section 18-25, and city ordinances, section 2-2028 through 2-2033. Assistive living system is now available in the City Council meetings. Assisted listening system, thank you. For those interested in utilizing these devices for the meetings at 93 Washington Street, may contact the city clerk, Eileen Simons. A regular meeting of the City Council is held in council chambers on Thursday, January 23rd, 2020 at 7 p.m. for the purpose of transacting any business. Notice this meeting was posted on January 21st, 2020 at 2:56 p.m. This meeting is being taped and is live on SATV. I would ask that everyone who has any sort of phone or any other device that makes noises, if they would at this point turn them off or silence them. I asked for Councilor Turiel to move to dispense with the reading of the record of the previous meeting. So moved. At this time, I ask everyone to please rise and join Councilor Sargent in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would just, as a friendly reminder to the returning councilors and our new councilors, when we do speak, make sure you use the mute button on your mics. Thank you. Public testimony. Public testimony shall not exceed 15 minutes, and currently we have, as of by the deadline of 6:30, we have 14 people signed up, so that basically means everyone gets approximately a minute. I would just ask everyone to try to hold to that time. I'm not going to put a timer on anyone. First person up is former Councilor Lisa Peterson. If you may, name and address for the record.
Lisa Peterson, 68 Broad Street. Good to be back. I am here to testify about the zoning map amendment. The returning councilors have heard my spiel about this, but just as a reminder and to catch up the newer councilors, this is a process that has been really, really impressive to me. The neighborhood came together in support of this, and we started almost 2 years ago. We started with the idea of what we want to see on Highland Ave versus, just waiting for a project to come along. And so the neighbors all came together and said that they wanted to see housing and they wanted to see potentially a restaurant there in that parcel. And we went through a process over the last couple of years that is a model, that should be a model for the way that we operate as neighborhoods and as wards, because we brought the developer in as soon as they were identified, very early, to meet with the neighbors and to find out what it was that they wanted, and there was plenty of time for the proposal to be catered, to be adjusted to really fit into the neighborhood in the way that that the neighbors wanted. And so I understand to an extent some of the ideas that the planning board have put forward. I think it would be great to have a corridor study, but this feels like a really arbitrary place to decide that. This was I think if we don't move forward with this particular project, we're kind of just picking a point and really an unfortunate one after all the work that's gone in over the last couple of years to tell the neighbors that all the work they've put in isn't worth it. And just to counter some misinformation that I've heard out there, this was a very high quality process. The whole neighborhood was invited to participate on many, many occasions. And so really, people have been invited to participate in meetings, by email, all sorts of ways. So everybody was well aware about what was going on, and there was a vote taken by the neighborhood association, and it did come back in favor of the project and the rezoning 2-1. So I ask that you support it, and also while I'm here, just want to wish everybody good luck this year. I will miss being in the chair, but it's nice to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Next up is Steve Kapanthis. Name and address for the record, sir.
Good evening. Steve Kapanthis, Wisteria Street. First, Mr. President, I'd like to say thank you for acknowledging my petition and bringing it to this committee floor. I think that fact alone speaks loudly for two things. One, first, the civil process that allows a resident to file a petition and to have it brought to the city floor, hopefully moved to subcommittee where we can discuss and make a decision if actions are needed, shows that the civil process in Salem is not only alive and well, but it's honored and respected. I am grateful for that. Second, I think that this matter is here because we all recognize that Salem has not progressed fast enough regarding ADA compliance. I won't go into any details, take that to the subcommittee, but I do appreciate that if this does go to committee, that I will be there and work with the councils to try to get Salem in a better place. Last, I'd like to stay for the vote and things, but I do have another commitment and we'll be leaving. But I thank you for your support and look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you. Next on the list is Sandy Silk. Name and address for the record, please.
Of course. Thank you, councilors. My name is Sandy Silk, and my address is 124 Arlington Road in Brookline. I'm the Senior Vice President for Development for Jefferson Apartment Group. We are the developer under contract to purchase parcels subject to the proposed zoning petition on the agenda this evening. By working with the petitioner, KR Star Realty, to pursue this zoning petition before you this evening, we certainly didn't pick the easiest path, but we do believe we are pursuing the path that will result in a truly well-planned project, which we don't believe to be possible under the current patchwork zoning that exists on these parcels. We've done something highly unusual here because we really want to be in Salem. We began talking with the neighbors on both sides of Route 107 before we even finished due diligence, as former Councilor Peterson noted in her comments. Through those early conversations, we were able to confirm the neighborhood's support for a residential mixed-use project here. These parcels are truly a gateway opportunity for the city of Salem, and we really want to do something special, something that is additive to the neighborhood, something that is right for the neighborhood and for Salem, and something that reflects the input and engagement of all of those constituencies, the neighbors in Ward 3 and Ward 4, and the broader Salem community, including each of you and your constituents. We have a lot of work ahead of us. While we've already hosted several meetings and presented a few potential design concepts, we aren't even close to finished. There are lots of issues to be worked through during the permitting process with the neighbors and with the planning board, and many more meetings to be had to discuss those issues: design, layout, traffic, affordability, how to enhance the existing adjacencies, and how to bring to life a property that has been vacant for several years. You see, this zoning petition is really just the beginning of this process. The real work for us begins when the right zoning is in place to bring forth a project that the neighborhood wants and that the city can be truly proud of. We urge you to approve the zoning petition before you so we can all get started working together to bring forth a new vision for this property, one that brings new taxes to the city of Salem and more housing, including affordable units, to Salem and the region. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next on the list is Paige Curtin.
Paige Curtin, 90 Wharf Street. What an honor to be addressing the new City Council and City Council President for the first time. Thank you all for the work that you've already done so far. I'm here also to talk about the proposed zoning amendment on Highland. I'm not a resident of that neighborhood, so I can't speak personally to the points that other folks have about this particular area, but I would like to speak about the urgency of amending zoning in Salem in general. We can't solve our housing crisis by squeezing all the necessary housing into existing residential zones. We need to rezone parcels and business districts so families can actually access services they need, particularly grocery stores. There are food deserts in Salem because of our zoning. And while I do look forward to the new council creating more housing, I hope very much that you'll also consider the needs of residents beyond just having a roof over their heads.
Thank you. Next up is Amy Burns Price. Name and address to the record, please.
Amy Burns Price, Marlborough Road. I'm here about the ADA issue in Salem. I have a handicapped son and I live in Salem, and I'm glad that you guys are actually hearing us, and we really need to work on the parks, the city, the sidewalks, the entire town. It's so difficult to get around with my child. I'm a resident of Salem. I'm born and raised here, raising my children here, and my son can't get around, and I'm glad that you guys are hearing us, and we really need change. So that's really what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Tanis Price.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. My name is Tanis, and I am a Ward 4 resident. I feel like the city of Salem has failed me and other disabled community members, but not by not having the city be more accessible. I can't take walks on many of the sidewalks because the surfaces are too uneven. Also, our parks are not ADA compliant, so I can't hang out and use any of the park equipment. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next up is Laura Lee Stewart.
My name is Lori Stewart. I live at 7 Barnes, and I am the co-chair of the Barnes-Clark-Wyman Area Neighborhood Association. I am testifying tonight in favor of the proposed zoning ordinance amendment map change along Highland Ave. Lisa Peterson was kind enough to say a lot about our process. It was in September of 2019, after door-to-door outreach in our neighborhood association held a well-attended meeting of our members and voted to support the zoning change needed for the project. As you can remember, the neighborhood came out in full force when the Cineplex was brought forth. I was at that meeting at Salem High School, and I remember people actually shouting. This process is very different. We were approached by Jefferson Apartment Group, and we've had many meetings with them. I know there was one meeting that I couldn't get to in January because that was my dad's funeral, but I know that Ann Dulis, my other co-chair, and members of neighborhood leadership in Ward 4 were involved in that meeting with Lisa Peterson and Sandy Silk to get early input. We've held several meetings, and we feel like this project will have less impact on our neighborhood than what the land is currently zoned for, which is B2 and BPD. We ask that this area be changed to R3 zoning to support a better planned housing development, which could be built by right with existing zoning, but really isn't what we'd like to see. This development will have less traffic and neighborhood impact than if we were to get another Cineplex-type development. We have enjoyed working with JAG, who has committed to working closely with neighbors. Their commitment to involving neighbors will continue after the zoning has passed and the project goes through permitting. I ask for your support for this zoning change tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Ann Dilius. Did I get that right? Close, sorry. Name and address for the record, please.
Ann Dulis, 14 Barnes Circle, and I am the co-chair of the Barnes-Clark-Wyman Neighborhood Association. I usually improvise, but this evening, based on time restraints, I will read my statement. And I'm here testifying with regards to the zoning petition. Resistance to rezoning Highland Avenue is primarily due to Highland Avenue being classified as the city's entrance corridor, the business commercial corridor that provides jobs and revenue. But Highland Avenue is much more than that. The corridor is home to the high school and elementary school, 2 supermarkets, numerous retail stores, many food establishments, and a medical center that services the entire North Shore. Highland Avenue feeds the minds, nourishes the bellies, clothes the backs, and heals the injuries of the citizens of Salem. The corridor supports Salem citizens in every aspect of their daily lives. It is the lifeline corridor. In my neighborhood and its residents are the immediate neighbors of the lifeline corridor. We endure hardships for the good of the city. A few of the area neighborhoods sacrifice for the benefit of the many. Our neighborhoods endure noise, congestion, and traffic gridlock every day, every week, every month of every year. We are not seeking preferential treatment, and we are realistic. We know that the area will be developed further. We believe that the rezoning of an area of the lifeline corridor will preserve our neighborhoods. Any proposed project should not significantly increase our already overwhelming hardships and should contribute to our area, not be detrimental. We are the neighbors of the lifeline corridor. The lifeline corridor is our home. Every day, every week, every month of every year. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is James Hurl.
Correct. Thank you. Members of the City Council, I'll be very, very brief. I'm here today with Tammy Harrington, who is the manager of the Salem Trolley. I'm the owner of the Salem Trolley. I wanted to let all the councilors know we love to work with the local officials. There is a petition dealing with transportation. We've been on subcommittees and everything else through the mayor's office and other things working with the Witch House and Pioneer Village and all the other proposals that come up. And we just wanted to take a minute to say that if anybody has any questions about the trolley, about the routes or anything else, we'd be happy to provide any information we can. I did serve one time on the Committee on Transportation in the state legislature, so I'm very familiar with transportation. The bottom line is I'm going to ask the sponsor or whoever it is, Madam President, the sponsor on the tavern. We hope to have more information available to us, and we hope to make a presentation. My understanding is there's not going to be debate on that tonight. It's going to be sent to committee, so we will be in touch with the committee. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next up is Tammy Harrington. You're going to pass? Thank you. Next up is Christine Derby. Name and address for the record, please.
Christine Derby, 73 Tremont Street. First, I'd like to welcome everybody that's new. I'm definitely strongly in support of Steve Kapantis' petition. The Commission on Disabilities meeting, where they went over the plan, the self-assessment, it's too much to get into, obviously. I think this needs to either go to Olaf or your committee. And we're looking at $100 million to fix this city, to get it up to speed. This is not a small task. And the thing that I think people are overlooking is it's the law. It is the law. I read a Facebook post stating, well, we have to prioritize between a water bubbler and a door handle. Not for the kid that's thirsty. Not for the kid that had to find a place with a microphone that worked for him. This is unacceptable. The law is reaching its anniversary. It's not 5 years, 10 years. It's time. It is beyond time. You have grandparents raising grandchildren that the streets aren't safe for them to walk. We need a commitment with a time frame, what you're gonna do, priorities. This needs to go to a subcommittee that I, along with Steve, will say, listen, this is how it affects me and my family and the people I care about. It's time. It's been blown off for years, everything. We have projections for trees, to purchase trees, put the money where it matters. And the quality of life, basic human decency for people. And if I can help in any way, I'm more than happy to. Just reach out. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Wait, 1 second. I'm supposed to submit this, but I forgot. Sorry.
Okay.
Someone wanted to speak, Rob Kennedy. He didn't meet the cutoff. He wanted me to present.
You want to submit that for the record?
Yes, please.
Just someone pass that right down to the city clerk.
Thank
Thank you. Can you make sure those are reflected in the minutes of the meeting, please, Madam City Clerk?
Yep.
Thank you. Next up is Matt Vino, Planning Board member and former City Councilor. Councilor, good to see you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good to see you. Congratulations to all the new and returning members of the City Council. I want to speak briefly on the Highland Avenue rezoning proposal. I also did present at the committee discussion. I'll be making a lot of the same comments. I was one of the city members of the planning board who voted against the petition. And what I want the city council to hear is that there is a frustration that I have and that I think is universally felt in the planning board that the zoning code is fundamentally not working for the city. And this particular petition is a perfect example of that. I would agree with former Councilor Peterson that really is a model process for engaging the community. You have and the affected neighbors, you have a developer that is clearly doing the right thing and negotiating in good faith. You have a process that in many respects works the way you would want such a process to work, but it is poor planning practice for the city. We were fundamentally rezoning a property to facilitate the redevelopment of that specific property. And that by itself is just not good planning practice. So I would say the negative vote, negative recommendation from the planning board was more a frustration of that underlying problem that we feel strongly needs to be addressed. So I hope you're hearing that the board that you have authorized to implement the zoning code along with the ZBA and the zoning enforcement officer is telling you that that code is broken and it needs to be fixed. Look, I understand how difficult a lift that is from having watched a number of other zoning proposals that are more narrow in nature not proceed here, but because it's hard doesn't mean we shouldn't still try to do it. So I hope you'll hear that. Actually, I'm late to get to the planning board tonight, but I wanted to make sure that folks are understanding what the negative vote of the planning board actually meant. I, for one, and I think I speak for a number of the other members of the planning board, would like to see this rezoning go through. It is proper, good, best use for this property, but it signifies a bigger underlying problem that we have to address. Thank you.
Thank you. Darlene Mellis. Name and address for the record, please.
Darlene Mellis, 115 Federal Street, Chair of the Salem Tree Commission. And I'm here to speak on behalf of an item that you'll be discussing this evening called the Century Tree Program. It is a new conceived program. We don't believe that any other community has it, that it is in recognition of our upcoming 400th anniversary. So the concept is that we want to plan forward. It is very hard to imagine trees that will last into the future all the way through this century, but it is possible if you have the right conditions, but you have to find the right locations. And so this program, which is actually up on the website for the Tree Commission, due to a lot of work by the IT department today, and particularly Lisa Mullins, is to solicit neighbors to look around. I mean, maybe you already have a huge tree stump that's been sitting there for 5-10 years, and yet you haven't requested a new tree. The value of a tree can actually be analyzed. The U.S. Forestry Service has a program on the internet now on the Tree Commission website. It's called iTree Design. You can look at your actual property, outline it, and then it will give you a forecast, like a spider web around your house. And you can say, I want to put a tree here, and it will tell you exactly what it will do for you for cooling, for heating, for sequestering carbon dioxide. There are many features that the Forest Service has put out there that are available to us as neighbors. So the point of this is to announce that this program is coming. We would like your approval so it can be official, and that we, on the Tree Commission, will be backing this with funds given voluntarily to the Salem Tree Fund, which I would like to announce that we already have $3,730 in as of tonight. So it is a voluntary program, and the money is collected, and it goes into this revolving fund, which can be used for nothing but trees. So this is how we're going to get it to the point that our children, our grandchildren, will see trees in their original splendor. Thank you.
Thank you. Last, we have Lisa Camerata. Our Human Resource Director, who wears many hats. Name and address for the record, please.
I'm told that I can raise this up a little bit so that I...
Yes, you can.
This one, right, Bill?
Yep.
Just like our desks.
There you go.
Oh, see that?
You never knew that.
Aren't you glad I'm here now? Wait a minute, you didn't either?
Oh, I did.
Oh,
I put it in.
Lisa Camerata, I am the Human Resources Director for the City of Salem, and I am a Salem resident. I live at 6 Larkin Lane.
thank you.
So I know most of you. It's good to see you all. So as you know, I am the Human Resources Director, and part of my role is I serve as the ADA Coordinator. And in that role, I'm fortunate to be involved with our Commission on Disabilities. Our chair, Deborah Lobsitz, is away in Vermont. She's unable to be here, but she prepared a statement, which I'd like to read. She emailed it to me, which I'd like to read at this time. So this is from Deb Lobsitz. I apologize for being unable to attend this evening's meeting. I prepared the following comments to be read in my absence. The Salem Commission on Disabilities has established a strong relationship with the Massachusetts Office on Disabilities, we call it MOD, that has allowed us to work collaboratively with them for more than 10 years. During that time, MOD has provided technical guidance, grant funding, and valuable training to the City of Salem. And we are confident of MOD's continued assistance as we work with the city to improve accessibility in Salem. Excuse me. The Salem Commission on Disabilities is encouraged, and I can tell you extremely excited, that's just a sidebar for me, about the increase in awareness of accessibility needs in all of our city's departments. And we support the ongoing attention to meeting the needs of our citizens and visitors living with disabilities. As some of you may know, last summer the city applied for and received a grant of $75,000 from MOD, which allowed the city to contract with a consulting firm to create the city's ADA transition plan, the subject of tonight's petition. The firm, the Institute for Human-Centered Design, we call it IHCD, you'll hear that acronym, is an internationally recognized expert in appropriate accommodations and ADA compliance in the United States. Over the last several months, IHCD surveyed city and school buildings, facilities, playgrounds, services, and even our website. The resulting draft report, which is over 400 pages long, was posted online for the public, describes in detail findings, suggestions, and specific recommendations, including cost estimates for the city to reach compliance. We were pleased with IHCD's recognition of the city's accessibility features already in place. At our meeting on December 17th, IHCD presented the draft report to us. Members of the public, along with the commission members, were able to ask questions and offer suggestions. IHCD will be providing the city with a final report soon. Based on IHCD's report, the Salem Commission on Disabilities looks forward to continue working with the Salem City departments and MOD to establish project priorities and plans to address ADA compliance issues. This petition serves as a reminder to all of us that there's a lot of work to be done. I cannot stress enough to you that the Salem Commission on Disabilities supports a strong effort and positive approach in moving forward to bring the City of Salem into compliance. With the mayor's and the City Council's support, we can take the steps necessary and act on the recommendations from IHCD. Thank you. Kind regards, Deborah Lofsitz. Do I need to give you this?
Please, thank you.
Pass this down, please. May I say one more thing?
Sure.
Before I do leave, I also have a letter from our consultant at IHCD, which I'd like to just offer into the record. As our consultant, IHCD has intricate knowledge of the plan. Obviously, I mean, they put it together, our facilities and programs. And as stated earlier, we do await the final plan. There is a draft report online if anybody would like to see it. It's lengthy and it's really worth the read. We should be receiving the final shortly. And along with city staff, IHCD has assured us that they will still work with us as we work towards addressing all the areas of accessibility. So I do have this letter, Eileen, and I can pass this on.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll leave this up for the next person.
Thank you. That will end the people who signed up for public comment. Before we get into hearings, Councilor Dominguez has asked for a moment of personal privilege. Seeing no objection, Councilor Dominguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight we mark at the beginning a new era, an era of change for the better, an era of working together, an era of bringing back respect and decorum to the historic body. As we begin our new section, we must act with respect for each other, but more importantly, we must act with respect for the residents of Salem who have placed their trust in us for their work. The voters have put us on a path together to do the will for the people. So let us represent what will and each other. We are in a housing crisis. We all agree that we need more housing opportunity for our residents so they can live and work in a community we all love. We are working hard toward creating more housing, and I believe accessory dwelling is one of the good places to start, respecting our neighborhood while helping our seniors age in place with the opportunity of additional income from ADU while creating a unit for someone that they can afford. We are also in a transportation crisis. We need to create new transportation opportunities. That is why I support the South Salem Real Stop Shuttle opportunity so we can all get around in our beautiful city. We must do our part to reduce our carbon footprint. I support the city purchasing green vehicle in reducing carbon emissions. We must take care of our neighbors. We must keep them clean and safe. I support our public safety departments, police and fire, the men and women who put their life on the line to protect us every day. We must support our children so they get the best education Salem has to offer. We must support our seniors and help them age in place. We must support our veterans who sacrifice to keep us free. We must support our homeless and marginalized citizens who deserve the same as each other of us tonight. We have a lot to work to do, and I am proud and honored to represent this great city in this great body. And I look forward to begin as a leader, along with every one of you, to help Salem to be a place that everybody loves, a great city. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we get going, I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize Councilor Prevey, former councilor from Ward 6. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Mr. President. Great to be here.
Thank you. Hearings, none. Appointments and reappointments.
We have held from the last meeting the mayor's appointment of Douglas Bowker to the Sustainability, Energy, and Resilience Committee with a term to expire on July 20th, 2020.
Councilor Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Council Madore moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Good to see you up there, by the way.
Thank you.
Very quickly, Mr. Bowker, my very first time meeting him was at a campaign event at my neighbor's house, and he made a really deep impression on how much he cares about Salem's sustainability and resiliency issues. So I can't be more thrilled to see him appointed to this committee. And he, although he is, I believe, a graphic designer, animation designer, I think he has done so much homework during his spare time to really read up and understand the issues that are plaguing our city and just in general climate change. So he brings the passion, he brings the knowledge as a local resident, also living in a neighborhood where flooding issues happen more often than not. So I really fully support his appointment and I can't wait to see him get to work, which I believe he's already attended several meetings. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilor Dibble?
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth?
Yes.
Councilor Madore?
Yes.
Councilor Marcello?
Yes.
Councilor Presnowski?
Yes.
Councilor Crowdy?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Turian?
Yes.
And Councilor McCarthy?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of the appointment of Douglas. Can't read it. Bowker. Bowker, is that correct, sir? Thank you. To the Sustainability, Energy, and Resiliency Committee, we have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries. Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to suspend the rules to allow Mr. Balco to address the council if he so chooses.
Council Madore has asked for special rules, seeing no objection. Mr. Bowker, if you would.
Hi, Doug Bowker, 41 Forester, and I just wanted to thank Christine and the council for appointing me to this committee. I have been attending since, I think, August or September as a member of the public, and I really look forward to being able to contribute in a more official capacity from this point on.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's reappointment of Ben Anderson to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board with a term to expire February 8th, 2022.
Council Turiel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Council Turiel moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion?
None needed. His work as the planning chair has been exemplary, and he's serving the community on this as well.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilor Dibble?
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth?
Yes.
Councilor Madore?
Yes.
Councilor Marcello?
Yes.
Councilor Presnowski?
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Torrio?
Yes.
And Councilor McCarthy?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of the mayor's reappointment of Ben Anderson to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, we have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's reappointment of Mickey Northcutt of 9 Northeast Street to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board with a term to expire January 25th, 2022.
Councilor Riccardi.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Councilor Riccardi moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion?
Briefly, I would just like to thank Mr. Norcutt for his service and ability to continue.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilor Dibble?
President.
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth?
Yes.
Councilor Madore?
Yes.
Councilor Marcello?
Yes.
Councilor Presnowski?
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Torrio?
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy?
Yes. Thank you. The matter of the mayor's reappointment of Mickey Northcutt to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board, we have 11 members voting, 10 in the affirmative, 1 present. The matter carries. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's reappointment of Noreen Gashinard of 16 Buchanan Road to the Public Art Commission with a term to expire January 11th, 2022.
Councilor Dibble. Thank you, Mr. President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote. Councilor Dibble moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion?
No, Noreen serves the city well, and I look forward to the work that she and the board does together.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, will you call roll, please?
Councilor Dibble?
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth?
Yes.
Councilor Madore?
Yes.
Councilor Marcillo? Yes. Councilor Presnewski?
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Torrio?
Yes.
And Councilor McCarthy?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of the mayor's reappointment of Noreen Gashinard to the Public Arts Commission, we have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's reappointment of Emily Larson of 27 Turner Street to the Public Art Commission with a term to expire January 11th, 2022.
Councilor Torrio. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Councilor Torrio moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion?
Mr. President, I'll just acknowledge that this is one of your constituents, and thanks for allowing me to handle this for you.
Thank you for taking care of it. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilor Dibble?
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth?
Yes.
Councilor Madore?
Yes.
Councilor Marcillo?
Yes.
Councilor Presnewski?
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Torrio?
Yes.
And Councilor McCarthy?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of the mayor's reappointment of Emily Larson to the Public Arts Commission, we have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's reappointment of Raymond Swartz to the Bicycling Advisory Committee with a term to expire February 9th, 2023.
Councilor Riccardi. Oh, sorry. I jumped. Councilor Torrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Councilor Torrio moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. Briefly, Mr. Swartz is a friend and neighbor. He's been doing a wonderful job. He does a lot to promote biking in the city, and I appreciate his service.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilor Dibble?
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth?
Yes.
Councilor Madore?
Yes.
Councilor Marcillo?
Yes.
Councilor Presnewski?
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Torrio?
Yes.
And Councilor McCarthy?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of the mayor's reappointment of Raymond Swartz to the Bicycle Advisory Committee, we have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's reappointment of Megan Leclerc of 10 Orchard Street to the Salem Harbor Port Authority with a term to expire January 12th, 2023.
Councilor Riccardi.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Councilor Riccardi moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion?
None needed other than a thank you to Ms. Leclerc for her service.
I would agree. I serve on that committee with her, and she does a fabulous job. Seeing no other discussion? Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilor Dibble?
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth?
Yes.
Councilor Madore?
Yes.
Councilor Marcillo? Yes. Councilor Presnewski?
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Torrio?
Yes.
And Councilor McCarthy?
Yes. On the matter of the mayor's reappointment of Megan Leclerc to the Salem Harbor Port Authority, we have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's appointment and reappointment of the following constables with their term to expire. Mark Schneider, December 2nd, 2021. James Danforth, February 1st, 2023. And Fotis Palacis, December 28th, 2021.
Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move receive and filed.
Council Madore moves that these matters be received and placed on file. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, all those opposed? Before we move to the next communications from the mayor, would someone want to make a motion to take out of order some of the other matters that people are waiting around to hear? Specifically, maybe the committee report or the status of the petition Council Madore. Council Turiel. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to move that we go out of order first, although I don't see the page number to petitions. Let's do that one first. That should.
Councilor Turiel moves to go out of order to petitions. See no objection.
A petition from Steve Kapantis, to the City Council to address the current status of the city's compliance to ADA law and the recently released report regarding an ADA transition plan.
Councilor Riccardi.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to refer this to the Committee on Public Health, Safety, and the Environment, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole.
Councilor Riccardi moves to move this matter to the Committee on Public Health, Safety, and Environment, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. Any discussion?
Yes, I'd like to thank those that came up to speak tonight, including Steve and Chrissy. I definitely feel that this is a topic that needs to be addressed and just continue discussed, and believe it belongs in committee.
Thank you. Councilor Turiel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask that this could be, doesn't have to be as an amendment, but I'd just like to ask that I know the committee and the committee chair will want to take this up as quickly as possible. I would like to ask that they hold off on doing until we have the final report in the next, I think, couple of weeks. So that's the only thing I'd ask of it, because it's clear that there's a lot of work to do, but I'd like to know exactly what we have before us before we embark into trying to get to the bottom of everything and figuring out all the numbers and stuff and all the work that's going to go into it. So I'd ask that if the chair, or instead of asking it as a motion.
Councilman Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also like to offer a friendly amendment to add some invitation to the Commission on Disabilities and also the school committee members to this meeting, because I believe this really serves folks, children in our district, and they would really benefit from.
If I could, my friendly amendment back would be school committee members that are on the Buildings and Grounds Committee. That way we don't have a quorum of the school committee and we don't end up into a double posting thing of a joint meeting. So the members of the Buildings and Grounds Committee would be my suggestion. I can't make that from here.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Council Dibble, Chair of the committee that everything's just been referred to.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. President, it's a habit of mine. I apologize.
That's fine.
You look good up there.
Thank you.
Thank you. In addition to the friendly amendment, I'd like to add a few others that should be invited to the meeting as well. Perhaps just the chair, the Commission on Disabilities, the Human Resources Director, which she already knows about, she was here earlier, the building inspector, because he cares for all of our public buildings, the city engineer, because he cares for all of our public grounds, if you would, the recreation director, because she has a handle on our recreational facilities and playgrounds, and in addition to Councilor Doer's requests, I ask that those be added.
So move that. Councilor Dominguez, so moved. In addition to all that, I will, the one suggestion I'll make from the president is that I will reach out to the mayor that when the report becomes finalized, I know it's in draft form right now, that, not every member of this body is a member of your committee, even though it's co-posted. I would suggest that, because there may be a conflict, but obviously we're always here on a Thursday, that I will ask once we have the document in hand, I'll ask them to come in and do a presentation to the whole body, so we have a general overview of what you guys, so that would be, then we can refer that into your committee, then we can take the whole thing up at once. So I'll work on that in the next week or so. I'll let everyone know. Any further discussion on this matter? Councilor Flynn.
Thank you, Mr. President. About 2 years ago, I got involved with this with Ms. Derby, with Tanis and his mother, Amy. And I've had meetings with the mayor about this, various department heads. And I had no idea how important this really is and how many people this really affects. We started to discuss, and I'm glad to say that there are going to be a couple parks in the city coming up with ride play structures that children in wheelchairs will be able to use. That's scheduled for this spring. So I am glad that we are seeing some progress, but we do need a plan. I can't stress enough how important this is. I guess you really don't realize what it's like until you actually are in a wheelchair, that I could kind of see this through Tanis's eyes. The children need to be able to play together. And this isn't a luxury, this is something that has to be done. It's a law. So I can't stress the importance of this. I'm very glad that Steve Kapanis came in tonight, and I hope we can move forward, and I hope we have a strong plan. And again, this isn't a luxury, we have to do this. Thank you.
Thank you. On Councilor Riccardi's motion that this matter be referred to the Committee on Public Health, Safety, and the Environment, co-posted committee whole with all the amendments that were added to it, with all the invited guests that we want to have, and with the stipulation that I will communicate with the mayor to make sure that they come in and give a presentation to the whole council before this matter goes fully to committee. All those in favor? All those opposed? Do we want to take up the next matter so we don't skip back to petitions? Petitions.
We have a petition from the Village Tavern to operate a seasonal free shuttle service in the downtown area. For example, May through November 1st, excluding the last 2 weekends in October from 10:30 a.m. to dusk or as needed, and to operate on the Essex Street pedestrian mall at all times.
Councilman Dore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to refer this to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, co-posted.
Councilor Madore moves to refer this matter to the Committee on License or Legal Affairs, co-posted. Under discussion?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I just want to offer a really brief comment about this petition that came in. I appreciate Mr. Njemi for filing this, but I had no knowledge about any of his plans until I saw this on the agenda. I just want to clarify that. I did have constituents reach out to me asking, like, why are you supporting this? But I had no clue this came in. So I did reach out to Mr. Njemi to just further understand what motivated him to do this and stress the fact that it needs to go before the Traffic and Parking Commission for additional input. So until that happens, I won't be scheduling any OLA hearings to discuss this matter, and I hope that the public will attend the Traffic and Parking Commission meeting to provide their feedback. And also, lastly, I shared with him that the city has several initiatives about intra-city shuttles that could meet some of these needs that he may or may not have for his business. So, again, I had no idea this was coming on, so I was a little blindsided, but hopefully we'll have a really good discussion out of this. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll take go back to, can someone make a motion to go back to committee reports?
We have to vote on the.
Oh, sorry. On Council Madore's motion to refer the matter to the Committee on License and Legal Affairs, co-posted committee of the whole. All those in favor? All those opposed? Now I'll take a motion.
Move that we go to motion tourism resolutions, the second page. Or sorry, committee reports, right?
Committee reports, thank you.
Committee reports, the first page.
Thank you. Councilor Turrell has moved to take out of order committee reports, seeing no objection. Committee reports.
I'm sorry, the page numbers.
It's okay.
They got deleted somehow. I don't know how that happened. Do your second-hand ballot, so that's easy. You just read it.
Yes, Councilman Dore, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. President. Sorry, just going to grab. Can I read this? Let's read this.
In City Council, yeah.
All right. City of Salem and City Council, January 23rd, 2020. The Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter of granting certain licenses, has considered said matter and would recommend approval.
The two second-hand.
We're taking tag days?
No, this second-hand clothing.
Second-hand licenses.
Okay, gotcha. On acceptance of the report, all those in favor, all those opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, any further discussion, Councilman Dole? Seeing none. On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor, all those opposed? Further committee reports.
Do you need to recognize?
Councilman Dole.
Thank you, Mr. President. The City of Salem City Council, January 23rd, 2020. The Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of granting the Planning Board's decision on amending the zoning map of real property at 355 and 373 Highland Ave and 2356 and 10 Cedar Road from B2 and BPD to R3. Has considered said matter and would recommend rejection of the planning board's negative recommendation.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor, all those opposed. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion, Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the committee met exactly a week ago on this matter, and it was a really productive discussion. We had in attendance the attorney representing the property owner, and he also represents the developer, Sandy Silk, who is also here as well. We had representatives from the neighborhood. Overall, I think we're hearing a lot of collaboration between the developer and the neighbors. And we also heard that there are concerns about the future of Highland Ave and how we need to be more thoughtful about long-term planning along the corridor and the impact that this rezoning may have. But I think the discussion ultimately, we feel that the benefits of rezoning these parcels outweigh these kind of longer term discussions. And I personally feel that the discussion about long-term planning can still happen. The rezoning does not preclude that from happening. And I'm hearing a lot of people saying that we need to look at a zoning overhaul, and that, I think that's starting to get some attention, and definitely leadership is necessary to take that on. And just quoting Councilor Vino's commentary earlier this evening, that it may be hard, but it's necessary and somebody has to take it on. So I hope we continue to discuss that no matter what happens tonight with this vote. So we did reject the planning board's negative recommendation, which means the committee supported the rezoning of these parcels.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Council Torrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to support I'm trying to think of all the double negatives and positives and all the things. I support the committee's recommendation. I think that given what we learned about this in last year when we had the joint public hearing, what we learned about the developers' options for building without the zoning change, where they could essentially fit the same amount of units into a smaller piece of the property. I think that's a reason to support this, to allow for a project that better fits the neighborhood. I will admit that I have real concerns about the project that was proposed after this came through for the adjoining R3, where they want to build a much larger project by right, and because it's already R3. And I do trust that the planning board will work hard to keep that in check to a reasonable level and try and make sure that that fits. And I also agree with all the statements that we have to try and work on figuring out how to make better sense of zoning in the first place. We've had a lot of battles here in city council chambers. We've had a lot of discussion. We've had a lot of zoning things come through here, and zoning changes come through because the existing zoning in a location doesn't work. So we see a lot of these changes, which means that zoning isn't working a lot of the time. So yeah, it is something that we need to take a much closer look at and see what fits. I know there was an effort to try and look at this on a corridor basis back on Bridge Street Neck when I was first starting out, and that never made it to the floor because of issues in that neighborhood. And we're seeing some of the after effects of that today, where where people don't like some of the development that's being done that does fit within the zoning that's allowed. People are working within what's there. So I do support this going forward. I'm behind the ward councilor and her support for this. And I think this is a way of making a project that's going to happen one way or another in that neighborhood, making that a better fit for the people who are going to have to live with it.
Thank you. Councilor Hapworth.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I also share a lot of the concerns from the planning board. I think this is potentially problematic in terms of just zoning that's developer-driven and car-based development that may happen here. But in the meantime, we've got neighbors that are kind of stuck in the middle. And I think if you listen to what I used to live out on Clark Street at one time, what the neighbors are saying there is that this is palatable development for them right now with what we have. And I think when you weigh the concerns of the neighbors there with the fact that we do have a housing crisis, this is something that I'll also support. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Flynn.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do have a couple issues with this proposal. I started off early with this with Councilor Peterson and Ms. Silk. And a couple things changed for me a little bit through the process. One of them was the developer that wants to build on the right side of the former Cineplex proposed property, 300 apartments. That does worry a lot of people in my ward, that this project could go forward with 300 on the right of that property, and then the additional 170 plus units to the left of it. That does concern me a little bit. That wasn't originally part of the plan when we started looking over this, that property on the right of 355 Highland Ave. Another issue I have, I didn't expect the negative recommendation from planning. I was highly criticized even by some of my colleagues over the last couple of years for choosing not to follow the recommendation of the experts of the planning department. So that does conflict me a little bit. Looking at that in the addition of the developer to the right, I do have some concerns with this. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Council Dominguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also wanted to express some of my concern. I really understand that when we have an expert opinion, you have to stay with that opinion because they see the big picture of the equation. We actually appoint the planning board to do what we think is the best. And I feel that we hear tonight from former Councilor Bino, who expressed his frustration on something that really going to affect not only that area, but the whole city. I have some concern, and I met with the Councilor Patty Priscilla, and we addressed some of the concern, and I got some answer. Got some answer on some of my concern, but at the end of the day, I have to be honest with you. I hear a lot of concern still, even though we hear some people who are in favor. We hear some other people who are not in favor, and I have some phone calls and emails, and there's real concern in which we have to make sure that we have the solution in order to continue to move forward. At this point, I still have some questions, some debate. I don't know if this is the time for me to express it, but I don't feel comfortable right now on moving forward on a positive way. The fact that we have the recommendation from the planning department and some of the neighbors concerned, those two things are very heavy on my end. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Being my first meeting, I brought notes, so bear with me. When we campaign for office, we knock on doors, we listen to the voters, and we try to get more residents to register to vote, and we try to get people to show up and vote. And we talk to the residents about what city government does and how they can become involved. We tell them that we are listening to them, and we really are, and we need to get them involved by starting neighborhood associations if they aren't already organized, by attending city council or board meetings, or watching on SATV. We tell them that they can make a difference if they participate in the process. The Barnes-Clark-Wyman neighborhood is a perfect example of taking a seat at the table. They came to the meeting organized by Councilors Peterson and Flynn. They listened to their city representatives when they asked for their opinions on what they would like to see on Highland Avenue. They participated in brainstorming activities and spoke honestly about traffic on Highland Avenue. But let's not forget, they spoke clearly about their desire to see housing and a nice restaurant. And they assumed that they were being heard. The developer listened to the people. She listened to their desire for housing. She listened to their dream of having a nice local restaurant. and she approached them and asked them to work with her. This has been a long process for both sides of understanding what will work on the property and what won't, of how many units are okay for the neighborhood and scaling back to meet that limit, of creating more green space on the property and less hard surface. And that relationship of listening and addressing concerns is ongoing. You've heard about the process undertaken by the Neighborhood Association, which resulted in a vote to support this project. They are the first to admit that not every single person is in agreement about the development. Some don't want anything built. Some want something else. But the majority want to move forward with this project and support the zoning change that's needed to build something that's pleasing not only to the neighborhood but to the city. This is a really good project, and this is a unique partnership built on respect for both parties, the developer and the neighborhood. We need to foster this type of engagement in all development projects in Salem. This is how we get great projects that are supported by the neighborhoods, by involving them in the process and by listening to them. The zoning on Highland Avenue between Swampscott Road and Barnes Road is a crazy quilt. There are single-family houses in B2 zones. There are strips of BPD, which is Business Park Development land, separated by small areas of B2. And they abut R1, single-family resident zones. I've not heard anyone defend the hodgepodge of zoning in this area. I've heard hopes and dreams for the use of the property, but for decades it sat empty for the most part. No one has expressed interest in building anything on it until Cinema World. And we heard loud and clear that project was not wanted. We also hear daily about traffic on Highland Avenue. No one disputes that we need a fix for Highland Avenue. As the Ward 3 councilor, I'm going to ask for monthly reports on the status of the redesign of the road. And believe me, I will be looking for attention to the areas from Barnes Road to Marlborough Road. And I will be focused on how the design accounts for future growth of Highland Avenue, because we will see more projects. There's several parcels on the other side of Highland Avenue that will be developed very soon. So I need to ask my fellow councilors, how will other neighborhoods look at this tonight? Will they see that the city council is really listening to the neighborhood when they ask residents what they would like to see in a space? Or will they see a city that thinks seemingly random zoning rules done in the 60s are the most important thing to a city? Something is going to go in that spot, and this is a really good project. So let's vote for this zoning change and allow the project to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. On this one, I'm torn because I really like the way the neighborhood came together and worked with the developer to come up with something that was better. But when you look at it, I wonder if the Cinemaplex project had never been thought of before, and this project was the first one that came through the door. I'm wondering what the welcome would be of the neighborhood had this been first. A development with almost 200 units of housing, a development with two large box-type buildings, big shoe boxes, if you would, a development that has some 300, 350 or more parking spaces, so 300, 350 or so cars that would be added to the already jam-packed Highland Avenue. I wonder if the neighborhood would have supported that and then maybe had driven that one away, and then on phase 2 come up with something different, something that would not create worse traffic on Highland Avenue. So I'm torn on this. The rezoning of 7 properties that will make good money for the developer, and there's nothing wrong with that, Mr. President. Developers, business people, they should make money. More power to them. But we are giving something back. The city council is being asked to give something back, to change zoning that was not created in the 1960s. It was created in about 1986. the business park development, which was designed and aimed at creating good, higher-paying jobs for the city of Salem, and there were clean jobs that were envisioned in this. Okay, there's a couple of properties at the front of the property, I think it's 3 properties or 4, that are zoned B2, which is business highway. But the lion's share of the property on the right side, or the south side, if you would, and the rear side are business park development. That's clean. That's not retail. That's clean businesses, like what we see on Technology Way. So I was concerned when this first came forward, and you've heard me say this in committee meetings, Mr. President, rather. I can't believe I still do that. That I was concerned, what happens to the property out back in the joint public hearing that we had in November now? It's been a long time. What happens to the property out back if we develop the property out front for something different and cut out part of the business park development zone? Does that negatively impact, make a much smaller business park development zone in the rear portion, if you would? So I had a map created, a plan that showed the property lines, the topography, the zoning, the wetlands, a few other things on there, the buildings. And I went for a walk that weekend twice, Saturday and Sunday, in the rain, both days, just to get a better sense of the area. I looked at it behind the animal hospital next door, the Pound, from the transfer station way back in, from Barnes Road, from Technology Way. I came at this from multiple places all around, walking through the property. And then a week later, I hear that on the property that I just walked, the property is actually 14 properties make up the rear, 14 to 15 properties make up the rear development that's coming forward now. I hear a week after the joint public hearing or so that there's a developer for the back half. And the chair of the neighborhood association up there, the Barnes, Wyman, and Clark Roads neighborhood association invited me to come to their meeting. So I did. And Councilor Flynn was there, and the Ward 3 councilor was there. And it was a good meeting, very good meeting. And we heard certain promises and commitments that were being made by that rear developer, who is a local guy in Salem. I used to coach him when he was about that high in baseball, when he was 5 years old. And he's with a former neighbor of mine. They partnered up together. So I like the fact there were some local kids. I call them kids. They're 30-something years old. They're no longer kids, but local guys trying to make good. But their commitment was that they were going to listen to the neighborhood the same way that this developer was with the association. And they took in that there's no playground in the neighborhood and there's no place to pick up a baseball and have a little pickup game. So they talked about maybe putting in a playground, maybe putting in a ball field, maybe doing a dog park and a walkway, and some other things that might help. And then they listened about senior housing, and they left that meeting, and in a subsequent phone call that they had with me, they called me, and they talked about senior housing as well. So they're looking to give back to Salem. I question 200, almost 200 units out front on the first project that's before us tonight, and 300 plus units on the backside, a total of 500 units, using round numbers, Mr. President, 500 units in one small area. That's a lot more people coming into Salem, moving into Salem. I question how many people from Salem will actually move into there. What we really need is not more luxury housing, Mr. President, not more luxury housing. We need more senior housing. We need more truly affordable housing or low-income housing, places that people can afford. What happens when we keep on building more and more luxury housing, as we've been doing for a decade now, thousands of units, it seems to be driving up the price everywhere. We need to be building more affordable, truly affordable, not what we call affordable, but something closer, not all the way down to low income, but maybe low income and something truly affordable. Build those type of units, and then that will keep the cost of other apartments, other places lower as well, because we competition at that level. We're just building too much luxury apartments and not senior housing. So had this proposal been for senior housing, or other things that would help the city of Salem, I'd be voting in favor of this tonight. The zone, the rear portion and the southern portion of this property is zoned business park development. We could use clean, higher paying jobs coming from a business on this property, not more retail. I'm not talking that. I'm not talking commercial activities, supermarkets, Cinemaplex, other high traffic impacts. We're voting tonight to allow for up to 350 more cars to come in this property to service almost 200 units of luxury housing with no benefit to the city except for more traffic on Highland Avenue. Luxury housing. Mr. President, I can't vote for this. We need senior housing. We need it now.
Thank you. Councilor Riccardi, then Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be brief and I'll probably just repeat a lot of what we heard tonight. I definitely want to kind of paraphrase what Mr. Vino from the planning board said, that our zoning code is fundamentally wrong, but this project is good. It's what the neighbors want. It's rare that we see that. We've heard a lot of discussion. There's a lot wrong with Highland Ave that needs to be fixed, the traffic, the congestion, but this project is wanted by the neighborhood and it is good, so I'm in support of it. Thank you.
Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, Mr. President. Done a lot of rezoning in the last 20 years since I've been here, usually one piece at a time, most times based on what developers need rather than what the city of Salem needs for its people and its long-term plans. I mean, a lot of the reason nothing else has been built there in the past is because there was a greenhouse there that sold flowers and such in the years past, so it hasn't been vacant that long in that area. But we've had a B2 up there as business zone. Then part of it got changed to BPD, Business Park Development. Then later on, around 2010 or so, we put planned urban development into the business park. And the big change was there that business park development is just for business, to create clean jobs and decent jobs for people. And that's part of what your business highway is supposed to create. Now with the PUD and the business park, that allowed housing into a business-owned area. Now the compromise to pass that was we switched it back to only 50% can be used for housing, for residential purposes in that business zone. Ironically, if we change this back to R3, it's going to allow 100% of residential use into that formerly business zone. So there's been a lot of rezoning piecemeal through the years, and not some good, some bad. But we have to start with a system, as Matt Vino mentioned, the system may be broken. But we have to zone for what Salem wants going forward, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years down the line. As a lot of our forefathers did when they created our zoning in the past. They did a lot of nice changes that allowed us to develop and grow our city center, going away from town, our highways, and all those kind of things. But now we're going back to, if we do a comprehensive rezoning, are we going to be back to square one where, say we went through a whole process of a couple of years, and what I can see is, once that's all done, we've got a nice rezoning, we've got some open space. Here comes another developer that doesn't like the rezoning, and I want to try and rezone that, and then we'll go back to piecemeal. And that's been happening so often that I can see no matter how we zone, we're going to be seeing those kind of things coming forward. And we have to get back to a system where just because land is open doesn't mean the zoning is bad. It just means this city has decided they want a certain thing there, and they're willing to wait for it. And we have to stay with that going forward. And I've heard, I believe, a lot in the neighborhood associations and what they want. And, I mean, on the one hand, we hear this neighborhood association has 275 people. But on the other hand, we have a vote that was 2-1 in favor of this development. Well, more than one neighbor has told me the vote was 16 for and 8 against. That's 24 total votes. I know elections don't always have 100% of people voting, but for something this important, you would think there'd be more than 24 people voting out of the 275. And then we also affect the neighborhood on the other side of the street. As over on Ravina and Ward 4, they have to deal with all the traffic and all the congestion. So my vote is to keep the zoning the same, basically because the same amount of units are said to be able to be built. But I don't think our planning board would allow that, because that would pan out to about 650 square feet per unit. I don't think the planning board would go for that. So the current zoning with the planned urban development in the business park will allow 50% residential use. And that'll allow a project to go forward with residential, with some affordable housing, but with less units, less density, less congestion, less traffic. So that's why my vote is to keep it the same. Thank you.
Council President.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll come right out and tell you that I'm going to be voting in support of what the residents want, because that's the reason that we were elected. As Councilman Morcillo said, this is an unusual way of doing work with the developers working with the neighborhoods to come together to find out what they want built in their neighborhoods. And it's their quality of life. It's the way that what they're going to have to live with for the rest of their lives as to what's being built next door to them. And I think that probably outweighs most of everything that's been said. Our assistant city planner, Matt Vino, who voted against it, at the beginning even said that he agrees with the plan, just doesn't agree with the way that the zoning issues have been addressed, and that's something that's on us as a council to address at a future date, but he still agrees. So if he voted for it, it would have been a 3-2 vote that the planning board would have voted in agreement, and that the committee would have brought forward in, also to support it. The good does outweigh the bad, as Councilman Madore said, and for those reasons, and the reasons that the zonings may have been in the 1980s, Salem's changed since the 1980s. Highland Avenue has changed with the 1980s. I think it's our duty to try to see those changes, be more progressive, do what the neighbors want, and vote for this. So I am in support of this.
Thank you. Anyone else? Council Sergeant?
Jill Hill, Council for Ward 1, Robert McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I want to say how impressed I don't need this thing, but I want to say how impressed I am with our newer members, and the fact that how quick they've got up to speed on this issue and how eloquent they spoke about this issue. And I'm not going to repeat a lot that's been said. I will say that I caution anyone who's going to hang their hat on what the planning board recommendation is how they're going to vote on this issue tonight, because I could go back, and I don't want to, but I could go back over the votes over the last 2 years where the planning board has recommended one way, and this body, and the body as a whole, has voted the other way. So and I think that the planning board's recommendation, as former Councilor Vino stated, was more of an indication of how this body tends to deal with zoning issues. And it may be the fact that we have to take a broad-based look at zoning as a whole throughout the city. But for this process, I've had the conversations with the city planner, I've had the conversations with representation of the developer, and this zoning change gives the developer the opportunity to adjust their plans without adding any additional units and achieving, in their opinion, a better product. And it's a product that the neighbors, and I don't know if this Cineplex project had come first or second, or this one came first, what the outcome would have been, but I know that from the discussions that I've had, that it seems that this is something that the neighbors realize, no matter how we act on this tonight, we can hang our hat on 300 units next door. They can build those units by right. We look at the units that are proposed in this site, in this conglomeration of properties, they can build X amount by right. It fits within the zoning that already exists. Something's going to happen there. What the proper is, it comes to the bigger question that the Ward 4 and the Ward 3 Council have to deal with Highland Avenue and how we work with the state to address some of those traffic issues. But on this one, only because of all the hard work that former Councilor Peterson, the current Councilor, and the Councilor Ward 4 did initially on this, I'll have to be supporting this tonight. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McCarthy.
Any further discussion? Oh, look. Thank you for that. He left me a smiley face. That's awesome. Just for point of clarification from the city clerk, if I may, we're just going to take the one vote. So the recommendation would be because I'm just curious, this is where it's presented in the agenda. It says we accepted the report on adoption of the recommendation. We're under discussion. So does that mean after we discussed everything we just discussed, we move to the final vote, which would be a roll call vote?
Correct.
There's only going to be one vote.
Committee report for adoption of the report, and then for.
This is under discussion, so now we're to the end.
You can adopt the recommendation, and then you're doing the zoning.
So there'll be two votes.
Correct.
So so the first vote we'll be taking is the adoption of the recommendation of the committee, which was to not recommend, not adopt the recommendation from the planning board, which was not to rezone the property.
That's
It's a double negative.
We talked about that. That's just a majority.
So on this vote, it would be I'm assuming everyone's going to want a roll call vote. Could I have a motion for a roll call vote, please? Council Torrio moves for a roll call vote. Seeing three hands, all those in fit. So this matter will be adopted by roll call vote. So for everyone's clarification on this, first we're going to take up the recommendation of the committee, which was not to adopt the recommendation, and then the second vote will be to change the zoning. Is everyone clear?
In all cases, a yes.
Yes, in all cases, a yay means yes and a no means no. We've eliminated the double negative by breaking it up like this. Everyone understand? Okay. Madam City Clerk, on the first matter, the matter of the adoption of the recommendation from the committee.
Counselor Dibble.
No.
Counselor Dominguez.
No.
Counselor Flynn.
No.
Counselor Hapworth.
Yes.
Counselor Madore.
Yes.
Counselor Marcillo.
Yes.
Counselor Presnewski.
Yes.
Counselor Riccardi.
Yes.
Counselor Sargent.
No.
Counselor Torrio.
Yes.
And Counselor McCarthy.
Yes. Thank you. On the matter to adopt the recommendations from the committee report, not to adopt the recommendations, we have 11 councils voting, 7 in the favor, 4 in the negative.
So
The matter does not carry.
that does.
Oh, that matter carries. That matter carries. So that's correct. The next vote will be with the adoption of the zoning change
First passage.
for first passage,
And that's a 2/3 vote.
and that's a 2/3 vote. Thank you for the
I
clarification.
mean,
But just for clarification, yes is to change zoning, no is.
That's correct.
so does a council like to make the motion?
So if I will, Madam City Clerk, so on this one, this is to adopt the zoning change. So a yes vote would mean to adopt the zoning change, and a no vote would be not to do anything. Is that correct?
Yes, once the council makes the motion.
Councilman Doe.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption by first passage.
By roll call vote?
By roll call vote.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Counselor Dibble.
No.
Counselor Dominguez.
No.
Counselor Flynn.
No.
Counselor Hapworth.
Yes.
Counselor Madore.
Yes.
Counselor Marcillo.
Yes.
Counselor Presnewski.
Yes.
Counselor Riccardi.
Yes.
Counselor Sargent.
No.
Counselor Torrio.
Yes.
And Counselor McCarthy.
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of first passage for zoning map amendment for the parcels at 355, 373, 2356, and 10 Cedar Road to be rezoned from B2 BPD to R3, we have 11 members voting, 7 in the affirmative, 4 in the negative. The matter requires a 2/3 vote. The matter does not carry. I'll entertain a motion to recess for 1 minute.
Motion for immediate reconsideration.
Council Sergeant moves for a vote for immediate reconsideration. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. To entertain a motion to recess for 1 minute.
So moved.
Councilor Dominguez, so moved. Take 1 minute just to regroup and get back to the regular order. Councilor Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. Given that this is a first council meeting for many of our newer councilors, I think there was bit of confusion around the motion to reconsider, so I would like to make that motion again for reconsideration, just so we are clear where we stand on that.
Okay, actually, it's a good point, and I'll take a brief second just to explain reconsideration. Basically, on a vote such as the one we just took, if someone makes a motion to move for immediate reconsideration and hope does not prevail, basically by reconsideration gives any counselor a night to sleep on a vote they've just taken and go into the city clerk's office or even after the meeting and submit a letter to the clerk saying, I want to reconsider my vote on the matter. By waiving your right to do that at this meeting tonight means that you're steadfast in your belief that the vote you've just taken is the vote you want to stay with for now and to eternity on that matter that's voted, as presented that night. So when someone asks for a vote for immediate reconsideration, hope does not prevail. If you want to keep the vote the way you just voted, you vote no. So when I say yay, vote yay, then when you vote no, it's no. So that means it doesn't prevail. If you do want to be able to have the right to reconsider, that would be, you'd have to do it within a certain amount of time, and then the clerk would then notify everyone that someone's changed their vote. So because that, we did it 99 times out of 100, the vote to reconsider is automatic. But where the clarification was, the Councilman Dora came to me and recognized that a few of the newer colleagues didn't quite understand what reconsideration is, and sometimes we as veteran members, we don't explain that as well as we should. So does anyone have, before we take the vote again, does anyone have a question about what I just said? It just basically means by voting to consider means you're basically, if you vote no, you're giving up your right to change your mind tomorrow or at 12 o'clock at night or whenever it is, sometime between now and tomorrow. Is that clear? Only because not everyone voted, and it was my mistake. And so we're just going to reconsider what we just formalize the vote. So does that make sense, Council? Correct. We're not voting on the zone change. I'm just going to say on Councilor Sargent's motion to reconsider, just so we formalize the vote so we understand what everything was. Does that make sense? On Councilor Sargent's motion to reconsider, all those in favor? Yes. All those opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4. So the matter carries. So that means there is a motion to reconsider, but that means anyone who basically is in the negative, if they want to change their mind between now and tomorrow, they have that ability. After that, the vote stands. Does that make sense to everybody? Those are the rules. Yes?
Somebody can tell us now that you intend to reconsider, and we can put it on the agenda for the next time.
The city clerk and I talked about this during the break. It's my understanding that the vote to reconsider, basically it's like a sunshine. It basically gives you overnight to be able to reevaluate and change your mind. And it wouldn't be for anyone who's in this case, on the positive, it'd be someone on the negative. So, yep, Council Sergeant.
It was a vote for immediate consideration. Hopefully it's good enough for that. Immediate would be right away.
Does somebody want to make a motion now that you're going to give reconsideration for the next meeting?
Seeing none?
Because your reconsideration didn't prevail. So somebody now can reconsider your vote. But it didn't.
The immediate revote didn't pass. It was affirmative. Because it was 4 members who voted no, and 7 members that voted yes. So immediate reconsideration failed. And hope did not prevail. So then I guess the question is, then the issue becomes, since reconsideration failed, then someone can make a motion to reconsider.
Now somebody can reconsider. Because the motion to reconsider failed. Now somebody can reconsider the motion. And you can either make that intent tonight or into the office by tomorrow.
I guess the confusion is the fact that typically this doesn't happen, but Council Sargent's motion was, he moved for immediate reconsideration, and I hope that would not prevail. So it prevailed, so reconsideration has prevailed. So that gives somebody the ability to reconsider, or to ask for, and I guess potentially ask for a revote. Is that correct, Madam City Clerk?
That's the way I interpret it. By tomorrow. Right, let's.
Councilor Madore, then Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think typically when we take a vote, regardless of the outcome, any counselor has 24 hours to reconsider following the meeting. Is that correct?
And not if immediate reconsideration prevailed, but it didn't. So that's why I'm saying I believe you can. Do you want to give it 2 minutes?
Yeah, can someone make a motion so the city clerk and I can clarify this? Thank you. Council Terry, motion for 2-minute recess so city clerk can be reversed. Thank you. Thank you. So for everyone's clarification, I love first meetings that have stuff like this. Back up here with the gavel. You can't wait for the glue to break and so the head starts twisting. So we just conferred with, I conferred in with Council Sargent and Council Dibble weighed in a little bit as well. The city clerk called the city solicitor with regards to our interpretation. Basically, we took the first vote, which in error, I recognize the fact that it did not prevail because the city clerk asked me what the vote was, and to be honest with you, like I said, 99 times out of 100, they just go along what was just voted, and no one asked to reconsider. So we just took the reconsideration votes, which it moved. The motion by Council Sargent was moved for immediate reconsideration. I hope it would not prevail. What happened was it did prevail because the vote does not have to follow the rules of zoning. It follows the rules of the council, which say reconsideration is a majority vote. It's not a supermajority vote. So we had 7 that wanted to reconsider or entertain the idea to reconsider, and 4 that did not. So by the motion passing for reconsideration, it means that any member of the majority, who was the 7 that voted, has the ability to ask for reconsideration, meaning they can ask for, because the motion to reconsideration passed, it did not fail, they can ask for a revote either tonight, or they have until noon tomorrow to go into the city clerk's office and pen something to ask for reconsideration, which would mean a vote which would happen 2 weeks from now. Unfortunately, the other thing that's going to happen is, as the clerk and I just spoke about, is we are then going to be backed up against the timeline. Because if this matter did pass this evening, which it did not under the first vote, the matter then would have required us to hold a special meeting for the second vote prior to our next council meeting, because you'd have to advertise it and then get it posted and then have the meeting in such a way, because the timeline has us being 1 day short of our next meeting. So we would have had to have a special in that final week. There is no way we can have a meeting and then pass it, advertise it, and have 2 meetings in the span of 2 weeks and meet all the requirements. That's my opinion. I believe the clerk's in agreement. So unfortunately, the first vote I erred in the counts because the clerk asked me and Council Madore asked me for what the count was, and I could not give them the solid count because at that point I recognized some hands that went up during that vote, and some people kind of looked at me and weren't quite sure how they should be voting, and that's why we asked for the ability to explain the rules, and the rules of reconsideration are everything I've just talked about. And I would say that by not accepting immediate reconsideration, any member of them, according to the rules that we just went through in Cushing's, any member of the majority, those who voted in favor of it, can ask for reconsideration. So, Councilor Dibble, I know wanted to speak first, and I'll open it up to someone else. Or I'll allow the city clerk.
The only thing you can do is revote it tonight.
So that, in that sense, the only thing we could do is re-vote it tonight because we're going to be backed up against a timeline that we won't be able to meet, unfortunately. Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for the clarification. Just want to say and go on the record that I'm uncomfortable with the whole discussion, the way the discussion is happening here. It seems as though a vote was taken, and some people might not be happy with that vote and want to have it voted again. And I look back in November, when we closed the joint public hearing on this matter, planning board goes away, and they convene a week after that joint public hearing. And they voted to recommend to the city council not to change the zoning for various reasons, the corridor on and on, but not to change the zoning. Well, almost the very next day, they were asked to reconsider this. So it was a couple days later, the recommendation was typed up, coming our way, and then the brakes were put on it. So the planning board was asked to reconsider this thing. And they did so in December, and they held firm with their vote. They didn't re-vote. They held firm with the vote, and they sent their recommendation to us not to change the zoning once again. But in November, the planning board was asked to reconsider their vote. And now we're trying to reconsider our vote. A vote was taken to reject or to not change the zoning, to leave it the way it is. And then we had a motion to immediately reconsider it. And you already admitted there was an error made, but I voted in a way that the matter would be ended. And our rules clearly say that you can only have one vote for reconsideration. Then we had a second vote for reconsideration here tonight. I know there was an error, but it's a second vote. When I was president, I wouldn't allow a second vote, and I explained that in detail, and we went with the first reconsideration matter, and we took a vote on that. So I just want to go on the record, I'm uncomfortable with this whole process from November, just after the joint public hearing to today, of trying to re-vote until we vote a certain way that some people might like. The vote was taken, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor. I will say for the record once again, and since I'm the president and I have the gavel, I will interpret the rules and I will work with the clerk to interpret the rules, and I will say that when Councilor Sargent originally, after the vote to amend the zoning, was voted down 7-4 for first passage, Councilor Sargent moved for immediate reconsideration and I hope would not prevail. It took the vote. Not everyone was recognized, and after the vote, after we went into recess, I was approached and asked what the vote was. And to be honest with you, as I've stated before, it did not, in my opinion, the vote to reconsider prevailed. There was, obviously, if it follows the lines that were voted or in the original first passage, that means someone has the ability to reconsider right now, if they want to. We can take another vote and take another roll call vote on what we just took, or we can just let the matter stay the way it is. But Councilor Sargent's motion to reconsider it prevailed. It did not fail. So someone has the ability to make a motion, in this case, either now or tomorrow, then that person has to be in the majority to ask to reconsider. Unfortunately, as I just stated, if someone makes a motion to do that tomorrow, by the time, the timeline will just be, it won't, in my opinion, it wouldn't work. I'd have to really sit down with the city clerk to figure out if it could work, but in my opinion, it can't work. So, right now, we stand at a vote that was taken for first passage that was defeated 7-4. Councilor Sargent's motion for immediate reconsideration in hopes it would not prevailed. So that means reconsideration is still on the table. Is that correct, Madam City Clerk?
Yes.
Thank you. Seeing no motion. I'll entertain a motion to go back to communications from the mayor, page 4. There's no motion relative to reconsideration? Thank you. Communications from the mayor.
We've been ordered that the City of Salem, Mass. Hereby adopts a resolution authorizing the filing of applications with the Federal Transit Administration and Operating Administration of the United States Department of Transportation for federal transportation assistance authorized by 49 U.S.C. Chapter 53, Title 23 U.S. Code or other federal statutes administered by the Federal Transit Administration.
Council Madore. Yes, Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is just a formality that we need to adopt as a body to be able to create the mechanism for us to accept the $3.3 million from the Federal Transit Administration to give us money to buy another ferry. So I'm sure you'll be happy, and so will many residents. This would be a great thing for us.
Thank you. Council Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would have to agree, but I need to go on the record from a legal standpoint and simply cite that my oldest son, Nate Dibble, is a merchant marine ship captain. He's presently out to sea in the Gulf of Mexico, but my son occasionally works as a captain of the Salem Ferry, and he's worked on the Salem Ferry for over the last 14 years, long before I was a counselor. My son occasionally, I apologize. So my son occasionally works in the Salem Ferry, but he also trains some of the captains or future captains at the Salem Ferry. I have filed the necessary paperwork with the city clerk, citing that there is no conflict of interest, no financial, I have no direct financial interest in the Salem Ferry. My son happens to work on the Salem Ferry about 2 days a year, maybe, just the way it is. With that, I just need to go on the record that there is no conflict, and I can vote on this fully, and I'm in full support of this, and will be saying yes tonight.
Thank you. That's a good reminder to everyone that you have to fill out those conflict of interest forms. Anyone else on this matter? And I will go on record as well. This is something that we've been working on a long time, and it's a direct benefit to the commuters and to Ward 1 because they will help relieve some of the burden of traffic to allow people to enjoy the water to get to and from Boston from work and enjoy the harbor. So, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilor Dibble?
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth?
Yes.
Councilor Madore?
Yes.
Councilor Marcillo?
Yes.
Councilor Presnewski?
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Torrio?
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy?
Yes. On the matter of the adoption of the resolution, authorize the filings of the applications of the Federal Transit Administration receiving grant money for the second ferry. We have 11 councils voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order that members of the following boards are hereby designated as special municipal employees under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 268A.
Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to move to refer to OLA, but yeah, I'll refer this to Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs.
Good. Any further discussion?
Co-posted?
Co-posted? Yep. Any further discussion?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I just read through the backup documentation for this, and it makes a lot of sense that we should not create undue burden on our volunteers who already spend a lot of time on our boards and commissions by allowing them to be categorized as a different type of municipal employee. It makes a lot of sense, but I also don't know a lot about what potential conflicts are, so it would be helpful to all of us to understand that more deeply. So.
Yep. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Council Madore's motion for that the matter be referred to the Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs, co-posted Committee of the Whole. All those in favor? All those opposed? Further communications from the mayor.
We have a resolution establishing the Century Tree Program.
Council Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption.
Council Dibble moves for adoption. Under discussion.
I think that this is a phenomenal idea of the city, of the tree commission, of the mayor's office. I had the luxury of serving on the Lorax tree commission for just about 2 years. And we made good progress. We created, and we recommended rather, and this board, the city council, created the tree commission, which was much needed in Salem. And this is one of the first steps. And I think this is a really creative idea. And I hope that all of us send a message and we vote 100% for this. Not only vote for this, but come up, all of us, all the ward councilors in particular, come up with locations for these century trees, if you would, or these heritage trees that will last a long time in good locations. So let's come up with some good ideas and re-green the city of Salem in a beautiful way for more than decades, centuries to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Council Dibble's motion for adoption, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Mayor's informational page, none. Motions, orders, and resolutions. Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, the year 2020, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, amending Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap zones limited time is hereby amended by adding the following. Lathrop Street, 1 handicap parking space to be added in front of number 18 Lathrop Street, beginning 4 feet west of the driveway at 18 Lathrop Street, Lathrop, running west for 20 feet. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter, and I move for adoption for first passage.
On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. Very quickly, just elderly resident looking for some relief in parking. His parking spot in his driveway is not big enough for his car, so it always kind of sticks out into the streets. So he also has a handicap placard, so this would come in really helpful.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Council Madore's motion for first passage, adoption for first passage, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further motions, order, resolutions. Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, in the year 2020, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, amending Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap zones limited time is hereby amended by adding the following. Warren Street, 1 handicap parking space to be added in front of number 11 Warren Street, beginning 24 feet east of the driveway at 11 Warren Street, running west for 20 feet. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter. And I move for adoption for first passage.
Under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is for constituent, actually, the whole family is in real need of this space because Chris Nagel, who is actually on our commission, Disabilities Commission, he and his wife don't see very well, so they rely on a family member to drive them to appointments and errands, so this would also come in very helpful to them.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Council Madore's motion for adoption for first passage, all those in favor? All those opposed? Are there any other motions, orders, or resolutions coming in? Seeing none. Committee reports. Council Madore, Council Madore.
Petition for public guides.
Did I miss petition?
Public guides.
Well,
Yeah,
my page is not numbered.
I'm sorry. My petitions under public guides is where we are. Everybody have that
So we
page?
skip, yes, so we're skipping communications from city officials, none. We're on to petitions. We did, we did that one, that one?
We did the first two. Second,
Public guides, correct. Council Madore.
well.
No,
we have a
actually,
list-
I'm sorry, Madam City Clerk.
Yep, we have a list of the following public guide applications.
We have the reading. Please. Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that these be granted.
Council Madore moves that these matters be granted. Any discussion? Seeing none, on Council Madore's motion that these matters be granted, all those in favor, all those opposed? Further petitions.
We have the following license applications for secondhand valuables and tag days.
Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that these be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
Council Madore moves that these matters be referred to the Committee on Legislative Affairs. Any discussion? Seeing none, on Council Mador's recommendation. All those in favor? All those opposed? Further petitions.
We have the following 5 drain layer contract operator license applications.
Council Mador.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that these be granted.
Council Mador moves that these matters be granted. Any discussion? Seeing none, on Council Mador's motion that they be granted, all those in favor? All those opposed? Further petitions.
We have a list of claims.
Council Mador.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that these be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
Council Mador moves that these matters be referred to the Committee on License, Order, and Legal Affairs. Any discussion? Seeing none, on Council Mador's recommendation that they be referred, all those in favor? All those opposed? Further petitions.
We have 1 constable bond.
Council Mador.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that these be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs and return approved.
Any discussion? Seeing none, on Council Mador's recommendation that these matters be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs and return approved, all those in favor? All those opposed? Any other business? Council Sergeant. Being the Dean of
Yeah, you take
the
Council
council.
Jerry's place.
Council Sergeant moves for adjournment. All those in favor, all those opposed, we stand adjourned. Thank you.